daily stand-up, and we go into Q&A, question and answers. You can ask me questions and then ask me why I did this, why this, based on your study. If you do have questions on this ceremony, daily stand-up is one of the Scrum event. So just ask me those questions, I can answer them. And then we go to first backlog refinement. Backlog refinement is not it's one of the sprint ceremony, but it's also recommended to be done. And the reason for that is to help you have a smooth sprint planning. Once you've done backlog refinement, it's easier during your sprint planning, because what happens is that you've already refined most of the stories in your backlog. So it's just pick and drop. Can everyone see my screen? Just making sure.
Yes.
Okay. So this is what we're going to do today. So this is my Kanban board. So this is what Kanban board would look like. You have not started. It can also be called to do. And then you have your in progress, you have your complete. Some people will have more columns, like they can have review, they can have code review, they can have manager review. Just kind of depends on what works for the team, right? Okay. So I know we kind of worked on a roadmap together, but I kind of fixed it. The idea of doing the roadmap on the first day is kind of give us an idea what roadmap is all about. So now the main project is Scrum Mastering. So Uche, you remember you asked a question, can we have a roadmap to becoming a Scrum Master, right?
Yeah.
So this is the project we'll be working on. That is the roadmap. So roadmap to becoming a Scrum Master. So the features are, we're going to have a strong knowledge of Scrum framework. And one thing I want you to look out for in this roadmap is colors of the stickers. So this color of the sticker matches this color of the sticker. So what that means is that this is the feature, this is the acceptance criteria, okay? So what this tells you is that for us to do this, to have a strong knowledge of Scrum framework, we have to do that introduction to Scrum and principle of Scrum. So introduction to Scrum and principle of Scrum is in the link I told you to study and get a certificate from it. Is a Scrum study, I believe, and there'll be a link for it. So that link you register, and then the first one is introduction to Scrum, and the second one is principle of Scrum. So once you study this, this will give you a full knowledge of Scrum framework. It will give you all the information that you need for Scrum framework. Now, we're also going to be doing, have a strong facilitation skills. So that's another thing I expect you to have. And what that means is I will be facilitating the ceremonies, and then I will let you also facilitate them as time goes on. So between July to August, I want us to achieve this. And this is not a set to stone. What I mean is, sometimes we can move this over, just letting you know. But I just set it up to give us an idea of what framework will look like. It comes with dates, timelines. The team have kind of saying, okay, maybe we can get this done from July to August, and then from September to October, November to December, January to February. It gives you things, okay, so let's say September to October, we're going to learn Agile tools, acquire Scrum certification. So I can send you, you can now go and write your CSM, which means you register for it, you go for the class, and you write it and come back with your certificate. We're going to look into continuous improvement mindset, do some workshops. This workshop will be coming in between us. We'll just tell you, if you look on the workshop, it tells you effective way of writing stories, how team can write effective stories, user stories. So what you see here is your Scrum board. This is what is called the board. And in Scrum board, or in your Scrum board, you have your product backlog. Your product backlog is where you have all your stories. Okay, every story that you write. So these stickers you see here, they are all stories. Okay, so as a student, I want to facilitate Scrum ceremonies so that I can develop my facilitation skills. This is one of the stories that will help you complete the feature for facilitation. If you go to page 2, you will see the facilitation skills. strong facilitation skill. That is a feature, and this is the one of the story that will help you complete it. So this story is what will help you complete that feature. Now, there is also a feature to study the introduction to Scrum and also understand Scrum principles. This also feature, each and every feature belongs to you guys. So if you see the one that has AA, it's for you, Abby. If you see the one that has I, it's for Chichi, because that is your like emails. And if you see the one that has U, it's for Uche. So if I click this, the assignee, you will see that the assignee shows you who this is assigned to. And please don't click. once we done, if we move it to in progress, we change the status to in progress. Jira does it for you. Once you move this to here, Jira will automatically change the status to in progress. But we have to do it ourselves, kind of, because this is a board. And then when it's done, we click done. So now each of these stories is for you guys. And what is this stories? This stories is things you need to do. Those study that I've sent you, once you finish the introduction part, because it's in 2 parts, you just move this story. When you start it, you move this story to in progress. Once it's done, and we're hoping to get this and this done in 2 weeks. So by next week, we should be able to be more of comfortable trying to facilitate. If we can't finish it, we can call this phase 1, the facilitation, and then phase 2. But this should be done for us. Okay. So let's start with. So I'm going to board 1 to move facilitating daily stand-up to in progress. So if you're wondering where I am, I'm in board 1. I'm moving that to in progress. So we're going to start today with facilitating the daily stand-up. Now I'm going back to board 3. Okay, is Chichi around now? Thank you, team. Thank you for coming this morning. I hope you guys are all doing good. It's Friday. We're close to the weekend, so I'm excited. I love Fridays because I enjoy my weekend a lot. Okay, so I'm going to start this morning. We're going to have our daily stand-up. And team, this daily stand-up is time-boxed for 15 minutes. We only got 15 minutes for this daily stand-up, so I'm gonna time us for 15 minutes. Okay, and so 15 minutes time box. Can you guys see the timer?
Yes.
Fantastic. Okay, sounds good. Okay, so I'm going to start with you, Uche. If you don't mind telling us what you did yesterday and what you plan to do today, and if there is any roadblock for you. Please go ahead with your story. So the first story is as a student, I want to study and understand Introduction to Scrum so that I can understand Scrum framework. If you don't mind giving us update on this story, please.
Okay, thank you so much, on that team. But during the week, I took a closer look at the Scrum Guide, trying to understand most of the intricacies of Scrum. I looked through the histories and purpose of Scrum, why Scrum was developed, and what was the essential goal of Scrum by the original developers of Scrum, which is Sweber and Jeff Sutherland. So I understood, that Scrum was originally made for developers, but later, was given an extension to other fields, and the developers of Scrum decided to consider anyone who is using Scrum to develop products as developers, irrespective of whether the person is in the IT or in other field. So I was able also to look through the definition of Scrum and why the principle which Scrum was built on. So Scrum was considered, from my understanding, to be a lightweight project that allows product to be developed in tendencies. So I also understand about the people who are involved in Chrome, the responsibilities of all the people that make up the team of the Chrome, which ranges from the Scrum Master, the product owner, the team. I also understand that it also sometimes involves the participation of the stakeholders who the Scrum is built, who the Scrum project is built, is being worked for, to be part of the Scrum activity, some of the Scrum events and Scrum activities. So my challenge is understanding, because I learned about the Scrum events. So I learned about the Scrum the first Scrum events, which is the sprint planning, the backlog, the spring review, the daily stand up, and the sprint retrospective. Then my challenge, my impediment is understanding how to facilitate these events using the acceptable tools for Scrum, which is either Jira or Azure DevOps. So I am looking forward to learning how to do this. I mean, use these tools in the next sprint, if God permits. Thank you so much, too. I will pass the ball to Chi.
Thank you, Chair, for giving update on the story and okay. So you don't have any blocker and this story, so that means we will say that this story is in progress.
Yes, it's in progress. Yeah.
Is it the two
One second.
Okay.
The only blocker I could find, which I will seek your help, is probably, I don't know if it is too early to request for it, is if we can assign us access to the Jira tool, which we could use to learn about the events facilitations. I don't know if that is available now, or something that we can wait for in the next sprint or the future sprints.
Okay, which we will look at that. If we still have time, we'll look at that. If not, we're going to move it to the parking lot and then we can discuss it after the Scrum. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Okay. Chichi, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing good.
Awesome. Update that I need from you is regarding the Scrum Fundamental link that I sent you. That is for you to study and get the certificate for Scrum Fundamental certificate. Is a free certificate online. I sent you the link. Have you started studying that materials?
No, I haven't. I plan to do that this weekend. I actually focused on the questions you asked. There were some things you asked us to go read up. Those were the things I read.
Okay, so do you mind giving the team update on what you did for the past few days and what you plan to do next from today? Please go ahead.
Okay, so I started with studying the role of a Scrum Master. I was able to understand everything that a Scrum Master does. And I also went through the Scrum framework and the key elements of the framework, which included the Scrum team, the product backlog, the sprints, the sprint planning, the sprint retrospective, and some other things. And then I also studied what happens during a daily stand-up, everything that happens, just like what we're doing now. And some of the things involve the time and formats, which you already did, the attendance, the status update, which is something I'm doing now, and then coordination and some other things. And then I also studied the list of Scrum events. There are some events events like sprint planning, daily stand-up, sprint review. Those are also events that make up the Scrum event. And yeah, basically that was what I did, and I plan to study the link you sent during the weekend.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you, Chichi. Do you have any impediment? Do you have any blocker?
Okay. What I just want you to throw more light on for me is that I noticed that most of the Scrum events are time boxed, okay? So like the sprint review has a maximum of 4 hours for 1 month. The daily Scrum is like 15 minutes. Then the sprint planning is time boxed to a maximum of 8 hours in a month. So I'm wondering, what happens when you're not really able to deliver what you're supposed to deliver within that time frame? Is there a form of adjustment? Because this looks very rigid. It's like we cannot exceed this time. So what happens when we need to exceed this time?
That's a great question, Chichi. And that's impediment that you're having. So we will take care of that. Because of time, I'm gonna get the update from Abigail, and then if we still have time, we're gonna discuss it. If not, we're gonna move it to the parking lot, and we will discuss it immediately after the daily stand-up, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, it's fine.
Fantastic. Hi, Abigail. How you
Hi,
doing?
I'm good.
Awesome. You might want to give updates on what you did for the past few days and what you plan to do moving forward.
So just like Chichi, I did the list of things that you wanted us to look up, like
Okay.
to be knowledgeable about. Like the roles of a Scrum Master, Scrum Guide, the framework, the Scrum events, and the importance of sprints and stuff like that. The link that you sent, it wasn't working, but I have the app thing and I was trying to go on it, but some of the videos weren't working.
Okay. 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 So that's a challenge there that some of the videos are not working. So we'll look at it there and we can work it. So what I would do is I will leave yours on to do until when they start, we can move it to in progress. But currently right now, this is still to do because you guys have not started it. Okay, fantastic. Thank you everyone. So let's kind of answer some of the questions.